Hey, this is Dr. Cody Sipe with your functional fitness tip of the day. I want to talk about the different types of muscular contractions and how you can use those in your routine to get your body more functional. There are three basic types of contraction: concentric, eccentric, and isometric. And let me kind of explain what each of those is. And I'm going to use an arm curl as an example. So if I'm performing a dumbbell arm curl, I'm working the bicep muscle in my arm. Then as I lift that weight, okay, and decrease this angle in my elbow, then that muscle is shortening, and that's a concentric contraction. Okay, when the muscle is shortening and using its strength, developing force, that's a concentric contraction. But now that it's at the top, I want to lower the weight back down to the beginning position. So now, as I lower the weight and that joint angle is increasing, that bicep muscle is stretching out, but it's still producing force. That's going to be an eccentric contraction. You can think about if you go upstairs versus going down the stairs. Going up the stairs requires, at least for many muscle groups in your lower body, concentric contraction, but when you lower yourself down the stairs, that's an eccentric contraction. Okay, both are involved depending on which way you're going. The third and final type of contraction is an isometric contraction. And this is when there is force produced, but there's no movement in the muscle. There's no shortening or lengthening of the muscle at all. So if I hold that dumbbell in my hand, but I don't move it anywhere, I don't decrease the joint angle, I don't increase the joint angle, I just hold it, then that muscle is producing force, but there's no motion. And that's an isometric contraction. Now, when we go about our daily tasks, we perform sports or work-related tasks, whatever it might be, our muscles are utilizing all three types of contractions simultaneously depending on the muscle group and the activity. And what's interesting is if you have muscles that cross two joints especially, then parts of that muscle could be performing an eccentric contraction, parts performing an isometric contraction, and another part performing a concentric contraction. So you get all three types of contractions going on in the same muscle group, all at the same time. And when this occurs, we call this an ecocentric contraction. Much more complicated than just looking at one muscle and one movement at a time. But thinking about that concept and that idea, then we realize that we need to perform all three types of contractions and perform a lot of them simultaneously using movements that capture what that muscle is supposed to do and what it's intended to do and how it contracts during these physical activities in order to make it better, in order to get it to improve so that we can function better. I'm Dr. Cody Sipe, and that's your functional fitness tip of the day.